All right, we are live. Welcome to the Real Estate Exam Study Group. I'm your host, Adam Ashba. We got a special guest in the house, Austin Gomes, right here. Raise the roof, Austin. This is what we do. There you go. He looks solid. That beard looks good too, man. I'm jealous. So Austin's here. He just passed his real estate exam, so he's legit. And we got people joining on up above, so it's great to see. Friday. And it's cold. It's a cold summer Friday too. I'm not liking this at all. So we're going to talk to Austin about what he did to pass his test. Going through the Hondros and his whole story, and giving some tips and tricks right after this.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, Austin, thanks for coming on today on a Friday. I know you got a busy day, so we'll get right to it. So we'll tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and and tell us how you started Hondros and all that kind of jazz. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't know. I'm at a point in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grow up. I've done a lot of things. I did the military. I did the Marine Corps right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I was a paramedic. And then after being a paramedic, I went into like logistics for a long time. And then I thought I was going to be a nurse because I have all the mental stuff, and, being a paramedic, you have a base knowledge. So I started working at the hospital, and then I figured I just wouldn't be happy doing that. And I found real estate and just wanted to go out and make my own money. I was tired of just making money for others. I want to just, work hard and make my own money.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I've ended up.
Okay.
I'm married. I have a son. He's 10 years old. His name is Bryson.
Awesome.
Just got a puppy. I got a German Shepherd.
I heard it in the background. So
yeah, they're out there barking it up.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. And yeah, Natasha, happy Friday to you as well. So, all right. Well, you guys, we are live. It's 12 noon, May 31st. So June is tomorrow. It doesn't feel like it. Feels like spring or something. I don't know. But if you have any questions for Austin, just go ahead, put it in the chat. You can ask him live. Like I said, it's 12 noon, May 31st. And if you have any questions after this, a lot of you guys watch this after we tape it live, put them in the comments, and either myself or Austin can answer them. So now, Austin, you went to Hondros, right? And then you did everything online. Is that right?
Yeah, I just did everything online, just, self-paced.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's most popular. Around 80-85% of all the students do it. So how did you have a full-time job, right?
Yeah, so I've had a full-time job, and I work a lot of overtime, and life is busy. I'm married.
I know. Married.
Adam knows, man. Adam knows. He was there from the beginning. I really dragged my feet. I dragged them hard.
When did
I even
you
had
start?
to pay for an extension.
All right.
Extend my classes, right? Because I dragged my feet that much because I wasn't, you know what I mean? It's like when you want to do something, and then, you really have to search deep down and be like, okay, I have to get this done, right? So that's where I was at with it.
So when did you start? Do you remember when you bought the classes?
Man,
do you remember roughly?
It was around August of last year.
Okay. Did you start, like, when you bought it? Did you start immediately on it?
I started a little bit, and then just life got super crazy, and kind of just I had some excuses, right? I'm like, okay, I'll just keep working overtime. I'll get this done. And I just kept putting it on the back burner.
Okay.
So then when I finally got serious, that's when, I don't know, I would say about a couple of months ago, I'm like, all right, now it's time to just put the wrench work in. There's no more excuses. I stopped picking up overtime, and I put my full into it.
Got it. How long did it take when you said you put like full into it? How long was that? A month or two?
Yeah, it was probably like a month and a half, 2 months.
That's good.
Know what I mean?
That's a really good pace.
Right.
Yeah. Within about, people ask me all the time, like, how long should it take me to do my classes online? Within a couple months. I
Right.
mean, what did that look like for you? Like an hour or two, a few days a week? Is that what it looked like for you?
Yeah, at least, you know,
Okay.
because it's so much information to digest.
Oh,
So
I know.
it's like an hour to 2 hour sessions, maybe three if you can
Okay.
stomach it, you know. It's a
Yeah.
lot to process. So yeah, about an hour or two at a time.
Lot to process for sure. So, well, I guess, talking about a lot of information, because it's a lot. What helped you, like, when you started buckling down, started studying and things? What helped you, like, looking back, saying, I'm really glad I studied this stuff, I practiced this stuff, it really helped me? Any idea, like, what?
So, I'll say this, God, the hardest thing I ever did was the military, right? But aside from that, educationally,
Mhm.
um, like being a paramedic and going through paramedic school, that was extremely tough. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the knowledge, the vocabulary, everything. So I kind of took that mindset. So when I went into real estate and took those classes, okay, yeah, I'm watching the videos, but then I get to the end and I go, okay, so it's like the summaries and the things I was getting quizzed on. I'm like, okay, so let's take away what's important from these summaries.
Okay. So
So
you
at the
focused on the
end, it was kind of like, you had the guy that pops up like, hey, if you don't remember anything, remember this. And then, you write that stuff down, right?
probably, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
there's always like the meat and potatoes of everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in school, a lot of that's going to come in like chapter summaries and like what they want to quiz you on. And because it's probably like, hey, this is important. Remember
Mhm.
this.
So no one's really said that. So you really focused hard on the summaries. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like the things I was being quizzed on and the
Mhm.
summaries.
Okay.
If you have a textbook, it's any class I've taken after, paramedics, it's like, okay, this stuff it's there.
Mhm.
Also, like, I've noticed with real estate when I was answering questions, um, if they took the time to write a big answer, right? Let's take that one serious. You know what I mean? Let's really look at
Oh,
that one.
got it. Okay.
And then we'll look at the other ones. But like, let's focus in on that one. Oh, okay. I think most of the time, even when I took my medic stuff, I mean, if they're gonna take their time out of their day to write a real big answer, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, okay, maybe take that one serious first, look at it, and then if you know it's not right, then toss that one out.
Yeah. So you did a lot of process elimination. Did you notice on the test, Austin, that some of the it's multiple choice, everybody who they don't know at home, multiple choice. Did you notice that some of the answers to the questions, some of them are like, what the heck, like that doesn't make any sense, like from a process of elimination, like you mentioned?
Right. And I think everybody will go in with that strategy,
Mhm.
At least here's my thing. Everybody wants to get it down to 50-50.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy, right? Here's my
Hmm.
strategy, and you can take it for what it's worth.
Okay,
I
well, you
would go into
pass and
questions.
listen.
I would go into questions and get rid of at least one. In
Okay.
my mind, I'm like, there's no way it's that one. Boom. Now I got three left. I got what, 33 and a third chance of getting it right.
Yep.
Everybody wants that 50-50, but even like people that get it down to 50-50, sometimes they're even unsure. So I'm like, all right, if I know I can get rid of one, I got a 33 and one third chance of getting this right.
Hmm.
So that's how I would process eliminate because, and obviously there's sometimes like, hey, okay, those two, boom, boom, out, out. I mean, that's gonna happen too. You're like, that there's gonna be, okay, those two, that doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
But if you're unsure and you're nervous, which happens because a lot of people don't take tests good, and I don't either. I'm not the greatest test taker, but that's how I do it. Okay, let's just get rid of one and then we'll
Yeah.
work with it.
Well, it's more manageable. Did
It's
you
very manageable.
Yeah, where did you take your test?
I took it here in Troy, Ohio.
You did Troy, okay. That I
I don't
everyone
recommend it.
okay, hold on a sec, you don't.
No.
Everyone is saying that, and it's got a bad rap, and I don't, whatever, but you're probably closer to that one. Why do you say that? Because everyone says that, and
Well,
it's got
see,
bad reviews on Google.
well, a lot of us are good under pressure, but a lot of us aren't. And if you're not good under pressure to begin with and you're feeling nervous and whatnot,
Mhm.
it's just not going to be a good vibe for you. You know what I mean? You're just going to, it's, the ladies that run it, I only saw the one lady. I know there's at least two from what I've discussed with other people, but I don't want to badmouth them. They do a great job. They do what they're supposed to do, but
Mhm.
it's just very like hand you a number, um, absolutely know this and and it's very
Very weird.
just it's like a pressure cooker. It's like,
Okay.
you're feeling pressure before the test even starts.
Yeah.
So if people have had better experiences at other ones, and I would definitely go with the other ones if you don't
Okay.
want to feel like you're just like in a pressure cooker
Yeah.
before you even
And you
start.
can take it at home, guys, too, if you want to.
So
That's a that's an option. Was there any material, like study material that you used other than just like summaries, reading the books and the videos? Did you use anything else, crammer, bought anything else?
I bought
Was it even
CompuCram.
hundreds? Okay. How
I
did you
bought
feel about
that.
that? Worth the money?
Um,
What are your thoughts?
I think it is. I really liked it. It really focuses in on vocabulary, like with like a
Mhm.
flashcard setup. But I really like it because you can do like flashcards, but you can also do like a matching. So then like you can match it to the correct definition. So like you're matching each word. And if I get it wrong, then it'll tell me, and then like, okay, I'll switch it around. So like when I switch it around and I read, and then I'm like, then my brain connects it, like, okay, well
Mhm.
that's what that means. Okay. So CompuCram was great. And then I did just one, because see, I passed the state exam on the first try, and then the national I had to take twice. So the
Mhm.
second
That's
time I
very
had to take it in preparation for that, I took the PSI, the actual official PSI practice exam.
okay. So
I
you
would
bought
recommend that.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that. And guys, we are live for people who are just joining. If you have any questions for Austin, we're live. It's Friday, we're at almost 12:15. You can put something in the chat and he will answer them for you. Um, so when you failed passing the state and failing national is really typical. I don't know the
Right.
stats on it, but that's pretty normal. How long between failing the national before you went back in, took it again? How long was that? Do you remember?
I think it was about a week and a half,
Okay.
because it took some time. Like when you fail the national, you got to get with your broker and you
Yeah.
got to fill out like a paper form, mail it in. It's kind of a
Yeah.
process, but I just took it as like, okay, more time to study. But I
Right.
wanted to
Right.
get back in as soon as I could
Sure.
while it
Yeah,
was
because
still
you'll
fresh.
forget it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like we always say it's like we drill a hole in the back of your head and we pump your head full of all this useless test knowledge and it's slowly oozing out the back. So you got to time it right. So during that week, you bought PSI's practice test and you did that. Do you think that was the difference? Or do you think like now you kind of knew what was on the test and you focused on the stuff you missed? What do you think was a good strategy for you to pass it second time?
So I kept on with the CompuCram as well, but I feel like just even just doing, and I only did one because I think it's like $25 a pop, and I just did the one, and I did it the morning of taking my test. I woke up
Oh,
early,
really?
and then I did that.
Jeez.
Did pretty good on it. I'm like, okay, so then I just felt like, hey, let's just put some pressure on myself to start it out. Then it won't be so bad when I get in there. And I felt like
Yeah.
for me that worked. Might not work for everybody, but for
How
me,
did you man, that's
yeah,
glutton for punishment. You took 2 te
I am a glutton for punishment though. So
you were a
that's
Marine,
I
so
am.
yeah, we
I
get it.
I am a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. How did you score? So when you took the practice test, did your s I don't we don't ever ask test scores, right? But did you score pretty similar on the practice test you took in the morning to what you did in the afternoon? Or was it
I scored a
comparable?
little worse on the practice exam, and then I
You
did
did? Okay.
a lot better on the actual test. So I don't
That's
know.
good. Yeah, could have got lucky. Did you have any math questions on? Do you remember any math questions?
So here's the thing too. When you don't pass one, they send you like an email like, hey, you got this
Mhm.
many questions right and this many questions wrong. So I focused on the areas that I was weak in. And math was one of them. I didn't get a,
Oh,
I'll just be honest, I didn't get a single math question right the first time around. I was like, holy
how
crap.
many of them math questions did you
I
get?
think if I were to look back at my email, I think there was like 5 or 6 total. And
Okay.
honestly, if I would have got like, I think 4 even out of the 6 questions right in that math, I probably would have passed the first time.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just not that great in math. It's a weak point, so you gotta work on it.
Yeah. Do you remember? So, like for everyone at home, minimum 5 math questions. They're called calculations, I guess, and then 10 is the most. Do you remember, Austin? What type of math questions? We get that question all the time. No one's asked it yet. Everyone's at home. Is quiet today, but do you remember like, oh, I remember that was on there, or they talked about that for some tips on that on the math?
So a lot of it's, comparative market analysis type stuff. Hey, I have a property with 2 bedrooms, and you're comparing it to a property with 3 bedrooms. A bedroom could cost $8,000 more. So let's minus that from this, and then take this equation, and a lot of it's figuring it out to where you can actually do the calculation, and it's like percentages and figuring out like loan stuff. If you got
Loan
a
to value.
client that's applying for a loan,
Mhm.
it's all the math stuff that you would learn typically just in the course, and honestly, CompuCram really helped me out there because they have a good math portion, and I just kept, you can take practice tests, so I just kept taking the practice math stuff in there and
Mhm.
just
Okay.
really hammered math equations, and it really helped.
Um, yeah, we had a comment here. She said, "Yeah, I thought about 7, 8 math questions right." Yeah, Natasha, 5 minimum, 10 max.
Right.
That's that's how it is. So
I
if you
think I
get
had
lucky, you get
6.
5. Yeah,
Yeah.
6 is good. Yeah, most people take 6 at any time. So, and another thing, guys, when it comes to math, is something that pops up typically is like commission splits. Like, if you sell a house for $100,000, you get a 3% commission. How much commission do you get? Then they'll take it further. If you are 50-50 with your broker, you get 50% of that commission. How much do you keep? How much does a broker keep? So remember that stuff. And that's important in the real world, because you need to know commissions and how much money you're going to get and things like that. So be prepared. So, but yeah, if anyone has any questions, we're getting down to the wire here. Austin's got to get going. He's got a lot of onboarding stuff to do today. So I guess one question I have is, um, did you waste any time studying stuff that you're like, man, I wasted some time on that. I should have just forgot it. Don't do that, guys. Don't waste your time on this or that or something. Any
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff in there. The meat and potatoes that I felt were math and
Mhm.
vocabulary. I would absolutely focus on like math and vocabulary. If you understand vocabulary, you're going to get most of this stuff right, I feel.
Okay. Like the keywords in your
Like
books, like
uh key
is there?
terms,
Mhm.
a lot of like the legal lingo. So each section, principles and legal and all the subjects, right? I would
Mhm.
just focus on a lot of the vocab, because if you understand the vocab, even if you didn't spend time in a certain area, you can be like, okay, I know what that means. Now I can put 2 and 2 together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You at least give yourself a fighting chance if you know the
that's true.
vocabulary in each subject.
Before they changed the test in 2019, that exam changed. Before that, that would be my number one tip. It would be like, if you memorize not even make it applicable, but if you memorize keywords, just memorize them, then you will pass that exam. It's a little harder now than it was. You kind of have to like put it in practice a little bit, but it's true. And that's why the flashcards, Honduras has like flashcards you can buy. Those are great. There's a lot of them though. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them you don't even need. But I don't know. It's 500. Did you get the flashcards, Austin? You buy that the flashcards?
No, I just did the online classes, but like that CompuCrayon, man,
you can buy them.
I mean, yeah, even if you just make flashcards, when I went through my paramedic course, I made flashcards.
Yeah, old school, huh?
Honestly, it's just I think with any subject, God, like you get the lingo down. If you can walk into Rome and speak the language, you're going to figure it out. You may not know the locations, but you could ask people, the language, you can get to where you're going. It's the same thing with real estate, guys. I know the language. Hey, I know that word. Or, hey, I got a question and that word doesn't fit because that's what that means. That's out.
Right.
You know the language, you can get through it. That's how I did.
Yeah, because it's multiple choice. You can kind of look at it and knock it, like, it's not that. Because a
lot of those questions were big words. And like, if I didn't know them, I wouldn't have got it right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know more other questions. Everyone was quiet today. We got a lot of people on, but I guess any other like final tips or anything that you can give to
I think
somebody?
This is like, here, I'll give you guys a big one, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of this just comes down to like, it's you against you. You know what I mean? No one is going to do this for you. No one is going to pass the test for you. It is you against you. You know what I mean? Only you are going to get in your own way. So for like me, I was getting in my own way because I dragged my feet for a real long time before I said, okay, this is serious. It's time to buckle down and do it. Honestly, and you got to block out everything, guys, because anything you do in life, people are going to give you an opinion when they have no knowledge on the subject. They're going to tell you you can do it or you can't do it. So really, it's really blocking all that out. And you have to have a meeting with yourself and say, okay, self, it's time to do it. And if you don't believe in yourself and you don't put in the wrench work, nothing replaces hard work. So that's my piece of advice for you.
Yeah.
And if you fall, get back up. I failed the national and I got right back on the bike and I did it.
Yeah, that's really important. If you don't pass, just get your retake and get back on it because you will forget it. I've seen people that take breaks. And it's like training for a marathon. Like you ran 22 miles. You only need 3-4 more miles to go. And then you say, I'm just going to take a break and I'm going to run the marathon in 4 months from now. But then you got to get back all the way up to the 26 or whatever mile, 26.2 or 3 or whatever. Like, don't do that. Just finish it out and be done with it. It's a long process.
I'll tell you, man, I'm not the smartest guy. I'm kind of a dumbbell. Being a Marine, I eat crayons and lick windows, guys. So if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do have one last comment that came in, and for the sake of time and Austin's time, he's got to get going here. But Houston, yes, we did cover the math, all about the math. If you want to rewind about 5-7 minutes in, we talk all about that if you want to replay this. So but you're welcome, guys. We appreciate you guys coming on, and thank you, Austin, so much for jumping on. So guys, if you have any other questions, have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for jumping on this Friday of the Real Estate Exam Study Group. So thank you, Austin. Again, have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate you coming on. If you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. But bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.